Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fox and I am so excited to be back with another Sims 4 speed building video. It has been quite a while since I uploaded to my channel. I think it's been about 3, maybe 4 months since I uploaded anything, which was definitely not intentional. It turns out consistency is not my thing. I have been dealing with a lot of health issues, so I just really haven't had the energy to be able to upload, but I'm excited to be back today. We are celebrating the Sims 4 base game becoming free for all new players. So if you haven't played The Sims 4 before, now is the perfect time because you can download the base game for free from Origin. So yeah, I highly recommend downloading it and giving it a go if you haven't already. So this build today is completely base game. For all you new players that might want to download it. It will be available on the gallery as always. This was quite a challenge for me. I have never actually done a pack restricted build before, so I found it really difficult. Not exactly with the exterior of the build, more so with the furnishing. We are very limited in choices with the base game, unfortunately, and I didn't realize how limited we were until I actually tried to build this. So I don't think that I've actually played The Sims 4 with just base game before. I was very against The Sims 4 when it first came out. I'm a huge Sims 3 fan, so I boycotted The Sims 4 for a really long time. So by the time I became a player and actually gave the game a go, there were already some expansion packs out, and I am quite the Sims collector, so I do try and get all of the packs. So I've never played base game before, I've never built a base game house before, so it was quite a shock and quite a challenge to see just how limited we really are. I think exterior items wise, there is enough to be able to build lots of different kind of houses, styles and things like that. I think it's just inside. The style of the furniture is sort of very Victorian, very classical kind of furnishings, so it made it a little bit hard because that is not my taste at all. So I found it pretty difficult, but we do get there in the end, and I am really happy with how the build turned out. As you can see, the exterior did come together fairly quickly. I am just messing around with the roof a little bit now, trying to get the shape right and just trying to figure out all of the roofing. I was looking at a reference image for this one, a sort of reference, so if I can remember to put that up on the screen, I will for you guys. It was just the front of the house that I was looking at, and also kind of the color scheme was inspired by it as well, but the back of the house and the sides, I kind of had to use my imagination a little bit, so that's why I left it at first, because I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. But just touching on this color scheme, it is very simple, it's very plain. We're doing a grey sliding, a grey stone and a grey brick. I do try to incorporate some brown here with the fence and the planter pots on the windows, but I do go through and actually change all of that. The fence becomes white and the flowers become white, as you can see. I do keep the front door brown. I think that was in the reference image and I actually kind of really liked it, so we do keep that. The fence kind of really annoyed me, just seeing that there was no matching swatch in white for the gate. So there's a matching gate to the fence, but there's no plain white swatch for the gate. So I did cut out me going through and trying to find one that looked good, and I do end up just deleting a portion of the fence so your Sims will be able to walk through. I think it looks okay. It'd look better if there was a fence, but I couldn't find one that really matched the style of the fence, and it was It's probably my favorite base game fence, so I did want to use that one in this one. I think that it just suited the build really well, so I don't know why there's no plain swatch, but anyway, that's I don't know, they need to update that, but hopefully they will update that, because we are getting some more Sims 4 updates more regularly. The Sims 4 Summit live stream happened yesterday, I think it was, and they did announce some really exciting things. So one of those things was they confirmed that they would be doing monthly updates to the Sims, and hopefully we'll get some more base game updates where they do update some of the swatches and add some extra things, because it would be nice to have some more matching swatches. Unfortunately, especially in base game, a lot of the swatches don't match. They have updated a lot of things, a lot of windows and things like that, to have a plain white and plain black swatch, but even still a lot of the black and white swatches don't match each other. They're like slightly different, so hopefully we'll get some updates there. I am really excited. They did announce The Sims 5, which I was very nervous about because I don't like change. I really don't like change, so I will be playing The Sims 4 for a very long time, but I think that it's only in development, so it's still a few years off being released. But it was exciting to see some of the sort of initial like look at gameplay and like art style. I know that everything will probably change, but it was really exciting to see the sort of new like build. They showed off some of the build tools and things like that, so it was really exciting to see the updated version of that we might get. But they also did announce infants. So the Sims 4 community has obviously been wanting updated babies for a really long time. If you are someone who hasn't played The Sims before, you're a new player. Babies are basically objects that are stuck in their cribs, and you cannot do anything with them other than care for them inside their cribs. So we have been wanting updated babies for a really long time. They did call them infants in the live stream, so I'm not sure if it's a whole new life stage or if they are just doing a baby's overhaul, but very excited to see that is apparently coming in January, so not too long to wait. Feels like it will take forever, but it will be here before we know it. I'm super excited for that. There also is some new expansion packs coming and things like that, so super excited. I didn't stay up to watch that because it was at like 5 o'clock my time, but I did watch it the very next day first thing, and I was super excited. So I have just spoken over pretty much all of the landscaping. So the landscaping, I will just mention, I do keep it very like lush. I try to keep it simple by using only a couple of plants and just repeating them over and over, but I tend to go a bit overboard. We do go for that sort of purple color scheme, which I think complements the grey really well. I do struggle a lot with back gardens, backyards. It's not my strong point, so this is probably not my best backyard, but I do like it. We do get some planter pots, a barbecue, a little dining table, and some monkey bars for the kids. I do try and add some skill building items where I can throughout the build to make it more playable, to make it more player friendly and give your Sims things to do. So on this back porch here, we do get a chess table. I was just going to put a chair and some plants, but I put a chess table out here, and out the front we also get a easel, just for those skill building items. They're really good for gameplay, and yeah, I'm really happy that I added those. So the plant choices with base game are very limited, so you'll have to excuse me repeating the same sort of plants over and over again throughout the interior. They're very sort of old style plants. I don't know if that makes sense, but not a lot of them are sort of my taste, so it was very difficult to pick and choose. I also did add the telescope out the back as well, another skill building item and activity for your Sims to do. Moving on into the interior, I did cut out the floor plan and me choosing the wallpaper and flooring. And that was because it took me forever. I actually struggled the most I have ever struggled with a floor plan, which was very strange. The house itself, the shape of the house has lots of bump outs and lots of sort of boxes that aren't like nicely shaped to be able to make rooms from. There's an issue with like The Sims 4, if you make a house it's too much of a square, it's hard to make a floor plan. But in this case I had the opposite, where there were so many bump outs and weird corners and sharp edges that it was actually really hard to come up with a floor plan. I probably could have done better, but this is what I come up with. So we are in the kitchen. I actually do really love this kitchen. I do keep it quite simple with the clutter items in here because there aren't very many items that are made for the kitchen. So off camera I do pull out some clutter items and sort of decorations, and we were just putting them around now. So we get some plants, just some soap, some paper towel, some basic sort of items. In here we have obviously the dishwasher, microwave and the coffee pot. That's pretty much all you can add from base game. I was looking for sort of like the popcorn machine and the ice cream machine that you can get from, is it Cool Kitchen? I think it's Cool Kitchen. The Cool Kitchen stuff pack has those items in it, so I was looking for those because I usually do put them in my kitchens, but I remember we're doing base game, and so I kept it very simple and just sort of repeated the same plants and books over and over again. But ultimately I am really happy with the kitchen and how it turned out. The dining room is quite small. Everything is functional. I did playtest the entire build. The only issue that I ran into was in the bathroom downstairs, which I didn't actually record, just to also mention both bathrooms I didn't include the footage of because bathrooms are very boring, but there is screenshots, so you'll be able to see those at the end. But in the bathroom downstairs, my test sim had trouble getting into the shower, so I did have to slightly scoot one of the cabinets over out of the way. So I did playtest everything. All of these chairs work in the dining room here. It is a squishy space, so I do keep it quite simple with the decorations. I moved the plant and put a light in here, and that's about it because again it is a very squishy space, but it does work. So functional is what we go for here. So moving on into the entryway, again I keep it really simple. We are very limited with sort of what items you can use, so I did struggle a little bit finding things, but I am also like happy with how it turned out because of how simple it is, and it kind of pushed me to use items that I might not have used before, because I generally wouldn't go for the shoe rack or the coat rack and things like that because they're just not sort of my style. So I was really happy that I was sort of forced to use those and step out of my comfort zone. So yeah, moving on into the study, you could potentially change this into a fourth bedroom if you wanted to. In here we have some bookcases, so your Sims can read, a guitar, a computer, everything you sort of need in a study space. A computer is really good for gameplay, so yeah, really happy with how that space turned out. Jumping into the living room here, I love this space. This living room is so cozy. I don't know if you can tell, but I was kind of trying to blend sort of greys with browns, which is not like a color scheme that I would generally go for, or colors that I would try and mix together like this, but I wanted to bring some of the grey elements from the exterior into the interior, but a lot of the base game items come in brown swatches, so it was just kind of limited for choice, and had to make do with what I could find. But again, I am really happy with how it turned out. You'll see that I use a lot of the wall sconces as well, because again, there's not really that much decorations that you can put that sort of that I like, if that makes sense. you guys might find that you like different items, and of course if you download this build and want to replace things or change things, definitely do make it suited to yourself and to your gameplay. This little space in here, I was originally going to make another sort of study space. Again, if you wanted to make the actual study into a 4th bedroom, you could change this into like a little study nook, but in here we just get some seats, a little aquarium and some mirrors on the wall. Jumping up to upstairs, we're just copying over some items from the little sitting area into the hallway. Keep it really simple in the hallway, just some chairs and a little table with some decorations and a plant. I'm really happy with sort of the upstairs area. I think that it's super cute and cozy, so we're just going to copy over pretty much the same decorations that we have everywhere downstairs and put them here. It was very difficult to find clutter pieces that worked together. Again, it's very like, I don't want to say vintage, but a lot of the base game items do kind of scream sort of a vintage Victorian to me, and I think that's just because of the time like that The Sims came out. I think The Sims 4 came out like 7 years ago, so obviously a lot of the pieces weren't going to be sort of modern because it wasn't the style then. So, and also it does sort of scream Sims 3 to me as well. So a lot of the original Sims 4 pieces definitely have Sims 3 vibes to them, which obviously the Sims 3 is a lot older, so makes a lot of sense. But anyway, we are in the child Sims room. So this room is very pink, very girly. I struggled with the layout of this room the most. As you can see, it is quite like long and almost like L-shaped. It's just a very weird sort of shape. And I do end up coming back in and changing the whole layout of the room again. I swap the little toy area with the dollhouse and the toy box and stuff around to the sleeping area, because I figured that the Sims would probably enjoy having more of a play space. So you will see me do that, but I wanted to include this as well, just in case you liked this layout better. You could go back and change it. Again, if you do download this build, make any changes that you like to suit your gameplay. But I am really happy with how this room turned out. In the end, it just was a struggle to get there. It is, again, very, very pink, but there is a lot for your child Sims to do in here. We have the drawing table, we have the teddies that they can communicate with and they can hug, and I think they can punch them as well if they want to. We have the dollhouse and the toy box, and the rest is pretty much just clutter items, but I think there's enough activities in here for your child Sims to be happy. You could add like a violin or something like that in here as well, but I just didn't think that it was necessary. I think there's enough in here for your Sims to be happy. But I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning of the video. I am very rusty, obviously. It's been some time since I've recorded a voiceover, but this house is designed for 4 Sims. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, and I did design it for a child Sim, a toddler Sim, and 2 parent Sims. Obviously you can change this to any way that you like, but I just felt like this was a good mix for a family home. And if you are new to the game, you might want to build like just a small simple family and maybe move them into this house. You probably will need to use money cheats for this one, because I did not restrict myself with money. I think that it's like 120,000 simoleons, so the motherload cheat will come in really handy for this one. Otherwise you could delete all the furniture, or you could save up and move into this one if you wanted to. Moving on into the toddler's room, I did struggle with the layout of this room as well, again for a different issue. This room being just a square and an even square, it kind of was very difficult to furnish. I was originally going to go with like a green theme, but then I decided to do blue because blue is there's a lot more items that are blue in base game, so it was easier to go with the blue theme, and then I do add pops of green just because there's a lot of green as well. So I think the blue and green looks really nice. And then we have the sort of beige color with the bedside table, the toy box, and the bookshelf. I do change the color scheme quite a few times, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, because I just wasn't really liking it. Again, struggling with base game. A lot of the items that I tend to gravitate towards are from packs, especially for children. So it was very difficult to come together, but I am happy with how it did turn out in the end. I think that it's super adorable. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy how it turned out too. I just spent a lot of time going through the catalog, going through the debug catalog to try and find sort of decoration items and things that looked cute in here. So you'll see me changing the layout of things. We pop a rug down on the ground and we put some toys down on the rug. I also do include that toddler potty in the bathroom. I was going to try and fit it in here because I think it works better for gameplay, but we pop it in the bathroom and it'll work just fine. So yeah, I think this is an adorable little toddler's room, and yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think. But moving on, we will be going into the parents' bedroom, which is the final room of the build. In here it is pretty simple. I did kind of keep it to the color scheme and the theme of the rest of the house. I do make a little sort of faux closet on the side there. We use this beautiful bed from base game, which I have never used before, and I was super happy to use it in here because it comes with matching side tables and a matching dresser. Finding some items to go in here was actually surprisingly easy. I'm super happy with how this room turned out. But the video will be wrapping up shortly and we will be moving into screenshots. So I just want to say a huge thank you for watching today's video. If you haven't played The Sims before, make sure you download it from Origin. And if you would like to download this build, you will be able to find it on the gallery. My Origin ID is at arcadefox. Again, if you guys like today's video, please do give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and follow me over on Instagram again at arcadefox. And yeah, thanks again for watching today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.